Google is reaching the 10th generation of their Pixel smartphones, and they're celebrating pretty hard with this year's event. Behind all of the celebrations and celebrities, literally, that have shown up for Google's unveiling this year is a whole lineup of phones and accessories that at first glance may seem way too familiar, but you probably expected that after all of the supposed leaks. Besides, Google's whole game has usually been about how the software is able to support the things that you need to do every single day and be, well, helpful. Or rather, in this new era of AI all the things, it's all about how the software or these phones can do things for you. So, what are they adding this year in order to actually achieve that? Let's take a look together, because this is Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? And this is the Pixel 10, the Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and the Pixel Watch 4 with the Pixel Buds 2a. Okay, I know a lot of Pixel content is coming out like right now, so I just want to thank all of you for coming to kick it with me in this video. I have a lot of stuff planned for all of these new products coming from Google, so your support means a lot to me. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon as well so you know exactly when all of the videos that are coming actually do come out. There's a lot to look through here, so let's get one of the main first impressions out of the way. Besides a little bit of refinement here and there, all of these phones and accessories basically look like last year's offerings. So in this video, I'm going to go for like more of a feature-focused style and give you a handful of the main additions that I think make this year's lineup worth considering. Sure, the differences in the Pixel 10 phones this year might be skin deep, but that can include some new hardware just underneath the surface of those potentially colorful backings. And yes, that does include the Indigo base Pixel 10 and the Jade Pixel 10 Pro Fold. All of these phones now rock magnets in what Google calls Pixel Snap. Hallelujah, phones are finally properly buying into Qi 2 wireless standards and bringing not just 15-watt wireless charging, but access to a whole new world of accessories that used to require specific cases in order to enjoy. First-party accessories are even on the menu for this new Pixel lineup, from a new magnetic charging mat to a stand that the charger can be put into for angled viewing while topping up the batteries of these phones, to a cute little Pixel Snap ring stand that adds a simple but effective kickstand to any phone it attaches to. I honestly would use the stand on any phone or case that can take it. There are a couple of reasons why this feels like a big deal for the Pixel phones, but also for Android in general, and it boils down to the fact that we've been waiting for the Qi 2 standard to become, well, a standard in the smartphone space. After all, we've been marketed so many different Qi 2 wireless chargers over the last year or two, and we've been waiting for that faster wireless charging to become a reality, and it just feels like a genuine win to actually see it happen now. And then there's the other reason why this is exciting, because there are a ton of accessories that support these kinds of magnets and the wireless charging that you might already be using. And here come the Pixel phones saying, hey, I can take all that now too. It feels like in just a snap, Google and Pixel have once again helped popularize a new standard for Android. Alright, one of the main reasons why the Pixels tend to be quite desirable comes down to the cameras, and there's a real shakeup with the base model Pixel 10 in particular. It's rare for a base model phone to get the full-on camera treatment, meaning that it can actually do the main sensor, but also do some ultra-wides and some zooms, but that's exactly what's going on, as the grand total of cameras on the rear of the Pixel 10, the base model, is now up to 3 with an added telephoto. This brings the Pixel 10 some parity between it and the Pros in the lineup. Now, it might sound a modest addition with the 10.8 megapixel count to support the 48 megapixel main and the 13 megapixel ultra wide, but here comes your first taste of the letters you knew you were already going to hear a lot in this video already, because AI is here to help with super res zoom. Okay, this is a concept that's not necessarily new, but with the new ISP that is in the Tensor G5 that all of these phones sport, well, there's going to be a lot more processing to make sure that the watercoloring in far zoom photos is a thing of the past. I got to look at it with the Pixel 10 Pro, which rocks a 50 megapixel main and 48 megapixel ultra wide and telephoto combo that is also found on the Pro XL. With its telephoto camera, the Pro was able to get up to 100 times stabilized photo capture that was then fed into the AI processing to take that blurry digital zoom to the next level via generative editing. Essentially, what the AI is doing here is figuring out what it is that you're trying to capture and takes a paintbrush to everything, for lack of a better term, so that the final result looks even halfway decent. It's something that I definitely want to test further in real-world camera tests. Super Res Zoom is available on the base Pixel 10, but also on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, but it tops out at 20 times for those phones because of the 10-ish megapixel telephoto that Google decided to give those devices. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold supports the camera experience more with its all-screen all-the-time tendencies, with the big inner display giving a half-and-half camera interface and instant review of everything you're capturing, a viewfinder for easy rear camera selfies and vlogging, and even more additions to the made-you-look characters that could help parents get a big smile out of their toddlers, or in my case, helps me capture some similar memories with my 2-year-old niece. Now, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold might not have the same high-powered cameras of the Pro phones that don't sport a crease, but the things those screens enable do ultimately push it into Pro-like territory. The big screen gives a lot of great ways to enjoy all kinds of content, complete with a smooth-looking and feeling multitasking system that can put full-sized applications side to side that animate in and out of each other easily. It feels pretty great too, because that center divider while multitasking can be dragged to create the desired separation, and pleasant haptic feedback indicates what kind of split screen or canvas you're actually going to get. And that's on top of all the new helpfulness features Google is pushing this year. The Fold manages to feel about as thin and manageable as last year's model, even though it now stuffs a larger battery with that Pixel Snap G2 wireless charging and IP68 water and dust resistance. Oh, and by the way, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is the only one in the smartphone lineup that still comes with a physical SIM tray, as the other bar-style phones are going full eSIM here in the US. One more thing to note, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, it also is coming out a little bit later than the rest of the phones. Talking a bit more about the cameras on the Pixels here, there is another new place in the photo-taking experience that AI is making its presence known, and it might make the Pixels the best smartphone for people who really want to get better at photography, or maybe just better at being Instagram boyfriends. Camera Coach is exactly what it sounds like, an AI assistant that takes a look at your current circumstances from the subject to the environment to the framing and provides a number of suggestions on how to get the best shots. Then it will literally guide you on the framing, likely based mainly on the rule of thirds, and all you have to do is follow the directions and hit the button at the critical moment. It kind of goes to show how the Gemini software is just being applied to all different parts of the phone, because this is like using the Gemini camera and asking, how can I take a good photo of what's in front of me? Well, now all of that's just baked right into the camera app. The classic but rapidly expanding AI experience gets a new way of being helpful in the Pixel's Magic Queue. This is such a big and wide-reaching feature that it has its own page in the settings. Magic Queue takes personalization to a whole new level, as that page in the settings is actually disclaiming and asking for permission to access certain bits of information that will be processed on device via the Tensor G5, and then it will be able to provide suggestions and actionable items in certain contexts. The main example that was demoed for me was in the Messages app, where Magic Queue proactively found prompts within the text to provide things like addresses for restaurants or to log appointments straight into the calendar, all in line of the app and without having to open Gemini and deliberately ask it to parse the info on your screen and then connect the dots afterwards. I've always said that in order for AI to actually proliferate in our daily lives, it has to kind of integrate seamlessly into the experiences we already have on the daily. This feels like a step in that direction, and I'm going to share what the experience is like as I have Magic Queue turned on my review unit once I get it, and we'll see if it actually makes my digital life easier, and I'll let you know about that in future videos. A lot of that Google helpfulness is coming to the Pixel Watch 4, which might actually look the most different from last year's version of the same device compared to all of the phones. Not only does it come in a couple of sizes and has a more curved, let's say dome-like shape to the screen that looks pretty cool, the charging contacts are on the side now and rest on a new charging dock. I think this is a bigger deal than it might seem at first, but putting the Pixel Watch 4 into a docked mode simply makes it more useful when it's off of my wrist. And also when it's on the dock, the Pixel Watch 4 could itself be a great way of just invoking the OKG hot word and speaking to Gemini to get a few things done like any other smart speaker. The relocation of the charging contacts helps provide a better sensor array on the bottom of the unit for all the health and fitness tracking, and gives a little faster charging of 0 to 50% in 15 minutes on a battery that Google claims will last upwards of 40 hours on the larger version. Now, of course, the Fitbit fitness and health tracking is all here, with morning briefs and ECG assessments and sleep tracking and over 40 exercise modes, all helped along with a revamped software experience that makes all kinds of apps easier on the eyes and easier to navigate, pun intended for this look at the Google Maps big button design. But accessing helpful features easily is the big story here, with features like Raise to Talk making Gemini as easy to start talking to as it was for Michael Knight to start talking to Kit. Gemini also uses the watch's new coprocessor that takes care of the AI computing alongside the Snapdragon processor that does the rest of the smartwatchy stuff, and that includes contextual generative text for better, more expressive smart replies that are way better than the yes or maybe canned responses that we've always seen and maybe never used when trying to reply to messages from our wrists. Speaking of wearables, the Pixel Buds 2a were on hand as well, bringing a lot of the features from the Pixel Buds Pro 2 for a lower price, and that includes everything from active noise cancellation to the ability to talk to Gemini, and of course those little wingtips that help to secure the earbuds in your ear. That's all being powered by the Tensor A1, which built-in allows for all of the power of Google's AI and Gemini features, but also is able to provide 7 hours of listening time with that ANC on. It could be a compelling audio product for those of you looking for a lot of what Google offers at a lower price, and it really rounds out the system that was all on display during this year's Made by Google event, accessories and all. And so, there you have it, some highlights of the enhancements and new features that Google are bringing to the entire Pixel lineup this year. What feature are you most excited for? I'd like to know in the comments down below. I do think that Pixel Snap is a pretty easy answer. Personally speaking, I can't wait to use that standard on these phones to really support all kinds of experiences, camera included. I mean, there are like plenty of photographer tools that were made for MagSafe that can now support the Pixel, for example. In a similar manner to before, Google is rolling out the release of certain items later, but all of the items are available for pre-order now. You can look forward to continued coverage of the new phones, including camera tests, by subscribing to my channel. But from there, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for kicking it with me again today. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.